So, Sean, before we get Will in here to really screw things up, let's go ahead and let's introduce the show.
Oh, do like a little thing like that.
Yeah.
We do. So I'll take this one, right? Because I do it really smooth, right?
Yeah, go.
Hey, welcome to SmartLess. We've got a great show.
This isn't a jazz. It's not a jazz show, though. It's more of like a comedy.
Well, hey, welcome to SmartLess.
It's pretty good, but it sounded a little too Arnett.
Oh,
can you take some Arnett out?
Okay. Hey, welcome to SmartLess.
SmartLess.
You know, I've been listening to the podcast. And,
wow.
It's not terrible.
Welcome.
It's not terrible. Will, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Sean, we knew you were going to be fantastic, but
Are we doing midterm
Will,
reports?
I got to say, you're doing really, really, really good work. You know, you seem to be in a real slot. The voice sounds great. The questions are always snappy. Sean, you're providing incredible leadership.
Let me
Go
Let me ask you
self-assessment. Go self-assessment. Just quickly, Sean, hold on to that question.
I've got issues with myself, but I feel like a lot of it can be re-recorded. So I don't feel so bad about it.
Do you listen to the show?
I have listened to the past couple, and it's not terrible, as I said.
What do you do when you're listening to it? Like, are you driving?
I'm
or
driving.
Are you at home? Okay.
I'm driving and I'm giggling and looking kind of psychotic at red lights. You know,
I've listened to it as well when I'm driving, and I've gone, and then I hear somebody say something, and I think, oh, it'd be really great to say this right now, and then
I had that same
one of us
thought.
says it.
Wow.
I had that same thought. We were,
Wow.
someone says it, and I was like, oh boy, I wish I would say something. And then boom, I said the exact thing. Like, I guess my brain works the same as it worked like a month ago.
I don't need to play it back because I was there.
That's the way I was thinking for like all the way up until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
How about
And
that?
I was stuck in some real traffic, and I was like, let's find SmartLess. And then I got a little embarrassed because I pulled my car in, and a valet guy took it, and the SmartLess thing was on my radio thing, and I was like, this
I
guy's
did
gonna...
the same thing. I listened to it.
How do I change this?
I did the same thing, and I pulled in, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I ripped my phone off, turned off Bluetooth clumsily. I'm like, please don't.
People are going to love us or hate us for talking about how much we love ourselves.
I
right
know.
now.
I didn't say I loved it. I
Sorry,
just said I've
listener.
listened to it. So, all right. So is it Justin Bateman?
No, it's Jason.
Jason.
Yep.
God.
It's Justin. I know.
You know, a lot of people do make. Before we get into your guest, one thing I do want to say: people do make that mistake of I've been privy to it, where people go, Justin, I'm a big fan. Right? I mean, it happens quite a lot.
It happens about once
Why
a
do
week.
they not know Jason?
I think it's a combo between my name and my sister's name, Justine.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Will, I think you've called me Justin half dozen times.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I did say when you got your Jason got his big star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame a couple years back.
And they misspelled. It says Justin Bateman on the
No,
star.
you're joking.
I am
But it's
joking.
written in some. He is joking. But I did say when he asked me to say a few words, I was amongst a few people who said a few words, and I did say, I remember, I said the first time I really took notice of Jason was years ago. I was watching Family Ties, and I see Justine Bateman, and I said to myself, man, I wonder if she's got a brother.
See, I have zero recollection of that because I was in such a blackout.
I know you were.
During that ceremony. Like, I mean, that's a crazy.
It was fun. It was fun for us, and your girls were there, and Amanda, and just all your bunch of
It's
friends.
an honor.
And
It was neat.
And
it was definitely.
and we were able
cool.
to celebrate you.
Yeah.
It was nice. Why did you not want Sean there? Because he was on the list and you
That's
crossed him
weird.
off. What was the thing?
I showed up, but they kept me behind the barriers.
And they kept you behind the barrier, and then you got arrested briefly. And
Yeah, it was close enough. It was close
Okay.
enough.
Wait, really quick. Last thing. Where is it located?
It is on Hollywood Boulevard. I believe it is east of Vine
I
on the
believe
north side of the
that's
street.
correct.
I've not been there since the ceremony
Sure,
because I'm
sure.
too
No
embarrassed.
drive-bys. You never do a drive-by with your darkened windows. You never do a drive-by. Nice try.
I told the driver to slow down a little bit. How about next time I get real sad, I should just go there and just sit crisscross applesauce on it and just
we know where to find you.
get some.
Oh my
get,
God!
get
If
some
Jason ever
ego.
goes missing, we know where he is.
Yeah, just fill the bucket a little bit. Hey, gang, today.
Yes.
Oh, we have a fellow we could really learn from, okay? Now, we're trying to entertain folks with talking.
Sure we are. Yeah.
Okay? With just straight talking. This guy is a professional talker. He's a respected talker. He's an awarded talker. 7 Emmys for talking.
Wow.
What?
His subject, get ready, Sean, sports. And not just any sports. These are top sports. This man has been the play-by-play announcer for an astonishing 6 Super Bowls.
Cliff Drysdale.
And 23 World Series. He's smart. He's handsome. He's an amateur pilot, opera singer, and glass blower, but a professional husband, father, and friend. America, this is your own Joe Buck.
No.
Joe?
Joe Buck. I even know
Get
who Joe
in
Buck
here.
is.
Joe Buck.
Sean, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
Listen, Sean's got questions.
I got questions for you. I know who you are.
Wow.
He does.
It's been my nightmare since I, begged Justin to come on this. And
Good usage.
it's been my nightmare to be revealed, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, wah, wah.
No.
Joe.
Here I am.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I have noticed this from listening to the show a couple of times that I end up
Your
talking.
own show, you mean?
Our own show. I start out talking about our guest's appearance. And it's a little weird, but I can't help it because I'm looking at you. Right, look at the shoulders on you. Now we don't usually see those under the suit, but what do you build houses on the weekends?
I do.
Look at you.
Yes. I
Good for
lift
you.
very heavy things.
You got a little workout routine, do you?
unnecessarily. I do. Yeah, I'll throw some weight around.
What did you blast backs and buys today?
I did not. I barely just crawled out of bed. I'm in Mexico. It is. We are recording this on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I realize that when I'm on with the likes of you, Saturday morning doesn't really feel any different than a Tuesday morning or a Wednesday morning.
No, it's Saturday every day for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last night I went to a wedding. I'm in Mexico.
Is that why you're in Mexico? Because of the wedding?
We're actually between homes in my hometown of St. Louis. So we're waiting for a new home to be ready, and my wife of 7 years and our 3-year-old twin boys are now down here in Mexico with me for the better part of 5 weeks. So we're
Why?
just kind of hanging out down here.
Wow.
So
that's
okay,
cool.
so you have
That's
a
great.
5-week wait on the new house. Congratulations. You have. Was it just coincidence that you knew somebody that was getting married down there, or are you a bit of
Total
a crasher?
coincidence. Total crasher. Yeah. It was
wow.
Sean Payton, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
Not to
Saints.
name
Yeah.
drop.
An incredible running back, by the way.
Yes, different guy, but close.
Different guy.
And I know you're kidding. And I found out I saw these people around the place where we have our house here, and I said, "Well, what's everybody doing down here?" Well, we're here for Sean Payton's wedding. So I text Sean Payton. I said, "Hey, what time's the wedding? What do we wear? What kind of attire is it? Beach casual, I'm sure. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. Have a great wedding. Good luck to you guys." And then it was, "You got to come." And then then I felt horrible because he's over the top. I mean, I feel so bad. I didn't know you were down here. So we ended up going last night, my wife and I, and
Right.
we basically did crash Sean Payton's wedding.
But let's be honest, Joe. Hi, Joe. Good to meet you, man. And I'm a fan, and I want to get into all that. But let's be honest about the original text. Like, I hear you're getting married, and even though it's a joke, haha, let's get real for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted the invite.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Now,
fine.
this is anathema to anything I would consider enjoyable. Isn't a wedding something that most red-blooded, knuckle-dragging males want to try to avoid attending?
That's true, but it's 52. It's been a long time. Sean's 57. This is like the next go-around. I've had my own second go-around. So this was kind of a different wedding. The actual ceremony lasted 7 minutes, and then it was down onto the beach, and everybo's having fun.
Joe, you got to know that Jason, we've been through this before. Jason asked me not to invite him to my wedding, and I didn't. And then 10, 12 years later, he's like, "I can't believe you didn't invite me to your wedding." I'm like, "No, you asked me not to invite you."
It's like writing no gifts on an invite, and you expect people to bring something.
Wait, why, Jay? Why do you not like weddings?
Well, because they're just Stiff, stodgy, scheduled, awkward, long.
No, you know why? Because it's not about him.
And I don't drink anymore.
There it is. There it is.
If I drank, boy, I'd be a pastor or a reverend or who's the person that does the officiating?
Either one. Either one works. So what I'm saying is, because we went to a wedding and because my wife and I do drink, this morning came early. So I had to clear the cobwebs. I have to, right now, the 3-year-old twins are bound and gagged in the back of our house so that they don't make noise on this podcast.
Sure. Well, just don't worry. Came early is Jason's nickname. Now, listen, let me ask you this, Joe. Joe, let me ask you a question, because you've got the kids there and you went to the wedding, and we know Jason hates a wedding. And it brings up a thing that I'm avoiding today myself. There were 3 kids' birthday parties I could have gone to today that I was invited to, 2 of which are for 1-year-olds. I have a long-standing rule. If you invite me to a 1-year-old's birthday party, it means you don't like me. Because I think, first of all, the fucking kid's not going to remember. And I don't want, the child.
Well, I'm saying that to my wife all the time. This is her first go around with kids. I have 25 and 22-year-old daughters. So the idea of making it even a point to run back home if we're out of town or if we're working, to go to the actual boy's birthday on the 26th of April, that doesn't really count until they can count. That doesn't count until they're at least 6. And they can go, today's my birthday. They have no clue.
What's happening. And I think that there are a lot of people who are going to say, "Oh, what a grumpy dude." But I really same here. I believe that we should not have to go to children's birthday parties before they realize what they are.
I completely agree. Even if they're your own kids, I agree. Yeah.
This reminds me of something somewhat depressing, you guys and listener, not super related. But did you know that, like, I'm 52, right? In January, I'm going to be 53. But that means that I have finished the 53rd year. Like, I'm in the 53rd year right now. And in January, when they say, hey, happy birthday, you're 53, it means I just finished the 53rd year.
Very good point.
Do you know that? Like, when you turn 1, you have lived 1 year. Will, don't look at me like you've never thought of this before.
I've thought about it.
Because you haven't.
Of course
Your brain doesn't work as fine as mine does.
I think it's interesting.
Of course I have.
No.
My mom, who is a lot. She'll say all the time, like, you're now in your 51st year. And I'm like, well,
so she's bright, not you.
Constantly. So,
right.
Anyway.
So you're saying that just adds to your depression because you're actually 1 year older than you're saying.
Actually a full year older.
Yeah.
Joe, how young a guy are you?
I am the same age as you.
All right.
I'm 50. I'm in my 53rd year.
Okay, and so you've been at this a long time, a very long time. Was when you first thought about becoming a broadcaster, obviously it was at a time probably much younger than anybody starts thinking about a career, because your father.
Third trimester. When I was in the third trimester, I was on my way out. I was like, I think I want to do what my dad does.
You came out with a microphone in your hand.
For Sean and for Tracy, his dad, Jack, was broadcaster for over, 60 years, I want to say?
Yeah, definitely over 50. He was with the Cardinals for 50 years.
Wow. And how awesome that you followed in his footsteps, and I think one could easily argue surpassed his accomplishments. Now,
I say that to his grave once a year. We're very, very soon after the anniversary of his passing, and that was back in 2002, and I usually make a pilgrimage out there and go, hey, the old kid one up you. Huh?
Look at me.
Look at me.
Now is that something that you felt that you... Did you feel like you didn't have any options because you just wanted to do what Dad was, or did you have passion for it at a young age?
No, I had passion for it. I think the answer to that is no matter what your parent does, and I was really close. So I can joke about that stuff with my dad because I was one of the few people that could actually make him laugh. So he took me on road trips when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I was in every National League city by the time I was 12. I was like his little traveling partner. And he and I were more best friends than we were the typical father and son. So to answer the question, I think when your parent does something that as a kid, if you're close to that parent, you see they love, your natural inclination is to go, well, man, my dad can't wait to go to work every day. That's what I want to do because
Right.
And then when it's something so fun, I mean, I spent every summer down at Busch Stadium and being on the, inside of the ropes and playing catch in the outfield and shagging fly balls during batting practice and bat boying and doing all that other stuff. And then sitting in the booth all night and basically going through a master's class every night of the summer, listening to the actual radio broadcast in a headphone, watching my dad do it, watching the game myself.
Yes.
It just was, I was immersed in it to the point where, I just didn't want to be anything else. I just wanted to be him.
I get that.
And what about meeting some of these early heroes of yours, these athletes? Was what about the saying, never meet your heroes? Did something go south at any point, or was it all great?
There were many times when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, and we would walk by the hotel bar, and I would see a player with somebody that didn't look a lot like his wife,
Right.
curled up around a drink, and I'd be like, Dad, just put your head down, kid, and keep walking. That's what he would say. And
That was a pretty good Jack Buck.
Yeah. Well, that came. That's when kids would ask him, how do you get into broadcasting, Mr. Buck? I want to be a broadcaster. I love the Cardinals. I love what you do. Start smoking. That was his advice, which I don't condone.
Did you smoke a bit growing up?
I never smoked. I was the squarest, dorkiest kid, and I think the reason why is I didn't want to. My dad's time at home was so fleeting during the high points of the summer and the fall when he was doing NFL games. I didn't want to waste that time being in trouble. So not that, I didn't want to, Mom found Joey with a pack of Marlboro Lights and
Right.
now I'm grounded. I didn't want to waste any time that I could have with him out of the house when he was home. So I didn't really get in trouble as a kid.
So him being out of the house so much, I would imagine just about every weekend for 6 months, do you feel, and I'm projecting here, because like my mom was a stewardess for Pan Am for 30 years. So her being flight attendant nowadays, yes. So 2 weeks of every month, basically she was out. And so now with all of the traveling I do, I basically work in Atlanta during the week and I'm home on the weekends.
Joe used to see your mom sometimes in the player bar.
It did.
Yeah.
Man, did she love Pedro Guerrero.
Man.
In fact, I see a little bit of Pedro in you.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Listener, we're so supported by Allform.
How many times have we sang the praises of our Helix mattresses, Jason?
So
How many
many.
times? And that's why we're delighted to tell you that Helix has a new sofa company, and it's called
What?
Allform.
Allform is the easiest way to customize a sofa using premium materials and at a fraction of the cost of traditional stores. Listener, you can pick your fabric. It's spill, stain, and scratch resistant. The sofa color, the color of the legs, the sofa size, and, in italics, shape to make sure it's perfect.
They got armchairs and love seats, and you can always start
Allform.
small and buy more seats later on if you want your Allform sofa to grow and change with you when you move.
And guess what? They're delivered directly to your home with fast, free shipping. You can assemble it yourself in just a few minutes without any tools. You tools?
Listen, I received my Allform chair in whiskey leather and walnut-colored legs, and Will received an Allform chaise in sand fabric and espresso-colored legs. And let me tell you, I sit in it, I melt in it, it feels so good. It's like warm arms wrapping me up as I sit there and I think about you, Jason.
Are you thinking getting a sofa without trying it in a store? It sounds risky, but I don't want you to worry because you're going to get 100 days to decide if you're going to keep it, okay? And if you don't love it, if you think it's garbage, well, I would say you're garbage, okay? And they're going to pick it up for free and you don't get to ever call them again. Okay, they're also going to give you a full refund as they're ripping up your phone number. They even are going to offer you a forever warranty, and a guarantee that you'll never hear from them again because you're garbage.
Finally, we get the comfort of our Helix mattresses in our living rooms. To find your perfect sofa, check out allform.com/smartless. And Allform is offering 20% off all orders for our listeners. Allform.com/smartless.
This episode of SmartLess is brought to you in part by HelloFresh, the proud parent of Crispy Kickin' Cayenne Chicken Cutlets. And in honor of this incredible new meal, we're going to bypass our incredible theme music and we're going to go with a Sean Hayes a cappella treat.
Crispy kicking cayenne chicken cutlets, yeah. Crispy kicking cayenne chicken cutlets, yeah.
Okay.
Crispy chicken cayenne. Crispy
I want you to
kicking
keep
cayenne.
that going all the way through the ad.
Okay.
Fall is for family time. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So you can skip the trip to the grocery store and focus on getting back into a new routine with the family. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, including vegetarian, calorie smart, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Ingredients travel from the farm to your door within a week, so you get the convenience without skimping on the quality. A solo right now from Sean.
Crispy kicking cayenne chicken cutlets.
HelloFresh isn't just for meals. Their marketplace features a variety of snacks like this fall's pumpkin cinnamon rolls, Sean,
Pumpkin cinnamon rolls.
to get you in the mood for the cozy season.
Pumpkin cinnamon rolls.
Go to HelloFresh.com/Smartless14 and use code Smartless14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's up to 14 free meals. Let's bring down Sean's level a little bit, including free shipping when you go to HelloFresh.com/Smartless14. Promo code Smartless14. HelloFresh, Americans' #1 meal kit.
We want to thank ZipRecruiter for their support of our podcast.
Get this, listener. According to Forbes, gyms, nail salons, hotels, mom and pop shops, and more are set to go on an epic hiring spree in the coming months to meet the pent-up demand for all of these services. It's nice, right?
I actually went to a movie theater for the first time.
What'd you see?
I saw James Bond, No Time to Die.
Can't wait to see it.
Guys, all of these businesses reopening means that millions of jobs will need to be filled. So where do these businesses turn to fill these roles fast?
Tell me, Sean.
ZipRecruiter, Jason.
Thank you.
And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/SmartLess.
Sean, when you post a job on ZipRecruiter, they send your job to over 100 top job sites, giving you access to their network of millions of job seekers. ZipRecruiter's matching technology scans resumes to find qualified candidates for your open roles and proactively presents them to you. You can easily review recommended candidates and invite your top choices to apply for your job.
And right now, get this, now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address. Ready?
Yeah.
ZipRecruiter.com/SmartLess. That's ZipRecruiter.com/
Can you spell that?
SMART
Yeah.
LESS.
Two
Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/SmartLess.
SmartLess, yeah. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. HIRE.
And now, back to the show.
So it helps with my guilt because I feel like it's just sort of normal for a parent to be gone all the time. Do you feel the same way? Because you got kids and you're gone all the time. How do you do it?
The best thing I can say to that, and we talk about this on our own podcast, which you were nice enough to be on.
Let's tell Tracy what that's called. Daddy Issues?
Called Daddy Issues.
And you can find that where you find your favorite podcasts.
Sure.
Is that right? And your co-host?
My co-host is Oliver Hudson.
Beautiful
who
man.
Who has the lot in life of being Kate Hudson's brother and Goldie Hawn's son and Kurt Russell's stepson. And you talk about daddy issues. He has mommy issues. He has sister issues.
He's also
he has
got a
everything.
left-handed golf game up there with Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, no, he does. And as I tell him, because he's just obsessed. His dad left him before he was 10, and he was just bound and determined to never be that dad. And so he's gone the entire opposite way, and he won't accept work sometimes if it's going to take him away from his kids. My dad, as I said, was my best friend. I took advantage of all the opportunities his job gave myself and my sister when we were little. And then when he was in town, or if it had been a long time, he'd take me on the road. if he and I could become best friends and I worship the ground he walked on, it can be done. It's just what you do with your time when you're home.
So what you're implying is you're going to take twin boys on the road with you as soon as they're old enough to travel.
No, I'm too old. I'm too old for that. I'm too old really to be their parent. And I have a really long-standing now 3-year argument with my wife where she is so tired of hearing me say, I'm 52. I've done this before. Can I get a fucking break here? Can I just lay down?
I'm with you on that. I've got a 1-year-old. I'm with you on that, Joe.
Oh my God. But my wife's so sick. And I keep saying my wife, Michelle, who's an avid listener. And as I told Jason when he was on our podcast, she has one of those newfangled electric cars, and on the screen, which is the size of a flat screen in a bar, when you get into the car, it used to have my podcast on it, like, oh, she left off at the 43-minute mark. And now it's just SmartLess. And she, I don't
listen. Jason's a big fan of the SmartLess too.
I heard that at the top.
I remember I worked with Bo Bridges years ago, and he would talk about when he did that. He did that show with his dad Lloyd and his brother Jeff. They did that show, Sequest. Do you remember that?
Seawolf?
Not Seawolf, not Airwolf. You're thinking
Airwolf.
The one that was shot in Palos Verdes.
The one that was shot, they were in the ocean all the time, and they were swimming.
Yeah,
and he said that he was like,
Sequest, I think.
we got to go to work with our dad every day. It was the greatest. And that really, no, of course my kids don't come to work with me every day.
You're not going to take your kids to work with you.
No, but I'm kind of stuck in the middle too, where like I do.
Joe's not going to do it either.
No, I'll be retired by the time they're going to get anything out of it. I will have ridden off into the sunset.
No.
Are you going to retire? You're never going to retire. Come on.
You're just getting started.
I don't know.
How old was your dad when he stopped?
He stopped like the minute he died.
Which was what? How old was he?
Well, that'll put an end to it for sure.
It slows you down.
How old was he? Was he 80?
He was 78.
78.
Okay.
He left a banquet that he emceed, went to the hospital in St. Louis for lung cancer surgery, and basically never got out. So he worked the last day he was outside of a hospital.
Oh, man.
He did a fundraiser and then went into the hospital, and 7 months later, he died.
So you've got 25 years left, and you don't even smoke. So that's at a minimum.
Yeah.
Great.
It's not happening.
We're excited.
I'm not growing old in the booth. In fact, and nobody cares. I mean, that was my dad's joke forever was, I'm going to die in the booth someday. And there are going to be two guys walking down the street in St. Louis, and one guy's going to turn to the next and say, hey, did you listen to the game last night? Jack Buck died in the 4th inning. And the other guy will say, oh, did the Cardinals win?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I know what you're implying here, and this is going to sound like smoke, but I disagree with you. I really care who's announcing my sports. And specifically, I love what you do because I don't know whether it's an acting talent or whether it's genuine, but you seem so relaxed and so casual, and you so easily relay the play-by-play information that I need to enjoy the game. And you actually alleviate stress for me. Because watching sports and caring about sports can be stressful, whether you're winning or losing.
No,
the fact
I
that you're kind of have a steady hand at 10-2, and you're taking us through the game, I not a lot of people do it like you.
Well, thank you. And when I said I agree that it can be stressful watching. And I'm a huge St. Louis Blues fan. I'm a hockey fan. And go ahead. Yes.
Well, this was my question for you. Well, you keep going, and then I'm going to follow up.
He's the guest. Shut your mouth. God.
No, your question took 20 fucking minutes. Go ahead,
it's
Joe.
well articulated. Go, Joe.
No, it's not.
Go, Joe. Just pick it up. Cut him
You
off.
explain your own question. Sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay, Will. You're right. It is stressful, and I try to just get out of the way. And sometimes that pisses people off. Sometimes people, he thinks he's too cool. He doesn't care. He's not excited. It's actually the opposite. I try to highlight the game so much, and it's TV. It's different if you're doing the radio. It's different.
Right.
You have to say everything. You have to give all the detail. TV it's almost redundant to be the play-by-play guy on TV. You see a ground ball to the shortstop. You don't need me doing the TV to go ground ball to the shortstop. Right. You can kind of hit different notes in it and just get out of the way. And when a home crowd is going crazy, I love just kind of saying home run, Dodgers are up 5-2. And then
That sounds good.
Our director goes, that's when he goes to work. His name's Matt Gangle, and he's showing, you and the highly expensive seats down front, and he's showing Burt Sugarman, and he's showing Mary Hart, and he's showing all of these people.
Me and Hartwell just
You
banging
and Hartwell.
peanuts back. Yeah.
Right. Thinking about what club opening you're going to later that night.
Well, Matt Gangle, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Matt because I want Matt to highlight me next time I'm at an event.
It's done.
He sounds like a great guy and a very cool
sounds like
guy.
a job for Louis K, but we'll leave that for another day.
Job for Louis K. Is
a
this
shout
Louis's
out.
first nod on the
It is
podcast?
definitely.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. No.
I mean, what kind of person are you?
So listen, Joe. So I was you mentioned the St. Louis Blues. There are a couple things I want to talk about. Sean's interest was piqued when we talked about all this dad stuff, and I want to get into that because it's. No, I do. Because this is something that's very interesting. We've talked a lot about on the podcast recently, and I know that it's something that that is a conversation, that's sort of an ongoing conversation that we've been having for a while. But you mentioned hockey. What are the sports? Because you call primarily baseball and football. You're on the baseball over there on the Fox, and then you're on the football with T. Aikman.
Yes.
What sports do you watch when Troy Aikman? Sorry, thank you, Sean. What sports do you enjoy? If you're going to turn the TV on, what sport will you turn the TV on to watch? For instance, Al Michaels sits behind Louis K. At the Kings games. That's where his tickets are. And sometimes I go with Louis and I sit there and I talk to Al. He's a great guy. He loves
keeps
hockey.
saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" at the end of every game.
And as a Canadian, I think but none of our NHL players were playing. Can you imagine who would have been playing for Team Canada in 1980? You would have had Mike Bossy. You would have had Wayne Gretzky. You would have had, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Just get over it. Just get over it. Let us have our moment.
You guys can have
Can we
that
just
moment.
have our moment?
You've been hogging that moment forever. But what sport will you turn the TV on to watch? What do you love to watch other than baseball and football?
Hockey or golf. And I never understood golf as a kid. I loved to play golf, but I never understood it on TV. I got to call 5 U.S. Opens, which was a thrill.
Wait, really?
Tell me something, Joe. Psychologically, what is the
Hey, Sean,
thrill?
welcome.
Yeah. What is the thrill of watching golf on TV?
Well, it's a chance to just go to sleep. That was going to be my
That's
point.
what I was going to say.
So as the aforementioned in my 53rd year father of 3-year-old twin boys, if there's any moment to just kind of power down and go see 3PO just freezing out, and that's golf.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then they jump on you.
And then they jump on me, and they, one of my kids at his birthday party, I'm not going to name him. It could be one of two. It could be Blake or Wyatt, bit me in the crotch area when he was, that's what made me think of it. When you said hit me, I've actually been bitten in my very private area.
Whoa.
With his head. He was scared of a life-size, real moving Batman that was his uncle coming to his birthday party. I was holding a cup of coffee. He's crying and buried his head in my crotch, and then went one more. And
Okay, hang on a second. So this birthday party is in the morning because you're having a coffee.
It was midday.
And then Michelle's brother shows up and says, "Hey, I got this new suit. I'm working kids' parties.
Right.
Can I get a couple bucks?"
I bought the suit.
You bought the suit. So it's Michelle's brother. This is Michelle's brother?
This is my wife's brother, yeah. I made
wife's
my
brother.
brother-in-law get into the suit that I got on Amazon. It was a great suit. I just didn't want to do it. And I just said, "Hey, why don't you run around from the side of the house?" And the next thing you know, I have an open wound on the head of my friend.
Yeah. So, Joe, listen, I want to go back to the art of what you do, because I think it is kind of amazing. Anybody who does what you do, to stay that hyper-focused every single game. And you have to know, like, the stats and the players and the plays. And doesn't it get exhausting after a while to be that laser-focused on every single aspect of every game, every day?
There have been ex-players right off the field. Ronnie Lott is a guy that stands out to me that had
Safety for the San Francisco 49ers.
Only has 9 fingers.
Yes. Well, 9.5.
Tell Sean that story. That'll impress him.
He lost the tip of his finger in his...
Didn't lose it. Voluntarily said, "Let's take it off."
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And yeah.
Why?
Correct me if I'm wrong. He got his pinky smashed between two helmets. The doctor said, "We cannot save your finger. You can't play football anymore, or you can have it chopped off." He said, "Go ahead and chop it off. I got to keep playing."
I think it was just the tip.
Hang on, man. Let's keep it
But
classy.
when you say just the tip, this is a real thing.
This is a family
Wow.
podcast.
So-
We got
This is a
people like
family.
Michelle
We got-
listening here. You
I
can't
pointed
say
out my
stuff like
mom
just
is
a tip.
listening.
No, that's
Jesus
true.
Christ,
I'm
Joe.
sorry. It's just the tip of the finger. Do I need to
Oh,
be more
got it.
specific? Yes.
Okay.
So he got off the field, went into the booth, and he said that was harder for me than playing. I have never had to concentrate longer in my life for 3 hours, and now more than ever with social media and oh my God if you make a mistake and oh my God if you just misspeak somehow and
Right.
you say something that you didn't mean.
Fun, right?
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
fun.
What a time. Yeah.
What an
And-
incredible time. People say, I think we don't have enough social media. We ought to double it. It's so great. And I want to hear
It's
from
great.
everybody.
But isn't it kind of like a tree in the forest, though? Like if you don't look at the comments, if you don't go on social media, does it really exist?
If I did, I
Yes.
would quit. If
Yeah.
I did, and I'm so fragile, as I told you on our podcast, Jason, from being the fat kid
Father
getting daddy issues, the getting
issues.
picked on. Yeah, let's get that right.
Yeah.
Available wherever you get your podcasts. As being picked on as a kid, when I read that stuff, I'm not saying people weren't picked on as kids. Most of us were for some reason, but it just goes right back into that. And so I'm always trying to please. I'm always
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
be.
way to go, Joe. The picked on kids movement is fucking mad at you right now.
Yeah.
Now
Check
they're
your
mad.
email.
Now.
Hey, but why do I see on the wiki page here that you're famously criticized and tormented? I've never heard any of that. I don't know what the hell they're. Why? What
Because
is
you're
that?
barely on. You just stick your toe into the
Yeah.
social media.
But is that a
world.
thing? Are you really criticized? Like you're at the top of your field. Who's criticizing you?
Because for you going to bed in your Dodger PJs every night, you all
so blue.
season long.
He's got 'em on right
all
now.
Oh, yeah, I know. There's an LA somewhere on there. If you all year long you hear your TV announcers do the games basically as a Dodger fan, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's what I used to do as a Cardinal announcer.
Joe Davis and Oral just bring it home to me every
and
day.
if the Dodgers hit a home run, they're thrilled. If the Dodgers give up a home run and now the Dodgers are losing, the call goes down. I have to get excited for both teams because I'm not there representing either team. I'm there representing,
it's a national
Right.
broadcast.
Switzerland. And so I don't care who wins. But when fans hear the announcer on TV get excited for the other team hitting a
right.
home run, they get pissed off. And I get it.
So you're saying you get excited when a Cardinal hits a home run, even though it's a national broadcast?
No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I don't
Okay.
see how you can even derive that.
Here
from
comes
what
the quote. That's the direct quote.
Yes.
And thanks a lot.
Yeah.
We thank you, Joe. We've got the quote we wanted, and we've got the controversy we wanted to
Gotcha.
start.
Do you have Lewis on speed dial? I'd like to talk to Lewis right now. I'd like to phone a friend.
So, Joe, let me ask you one question. So, going back, so your dad, you loved what your dad did. You wanted to emulate your dad, and you wanted to spend time with your dad, which makes total sense. And but who other than your dad did you look up to, or do you currently look up to as in terms of broadcasters in sports or broadcasters in general, or people that do you have idols in that world?
Al Michaels, if Al
Yeah, of
Michaels is
course.
doing it, I want to listen to it, and it's just very pleasing to my ear. Vin Scully is the greatest baseball broadcaster of all time. The mind-blowing thing to me is that he worked by himself, even
right.
to the bitter end when he was doing the games, and that's a lot.
What about Pat Summerall and John Madden?
Oh
You
my,
miss them?
so good, and we and Troy and Chris Collinsworth and I took their place at Fox, and that was. It was hard to kind of step in, and my dad was my broadcast partner for over 10 years. And I didn't know what to call him on the air. Was it Dad? Was it Jack? Was it Hey You? Which is kind of what it became. I just didn't reference him by.
Right.
That's how Jason references all the people that work on his crew. But go ahead.
And so then we took over for Pat and John, and I think they are, to me, and again, I'm in my 53rd year, so that hits at my wheelhouse of what a big game in the NFL sounded like. It was Pat Summerall doing his Montana, Rice,
Right.
touchdown, and then John doing he was the great straight man to John's kind of bam, boom, biff.
You do any vocal warm-ups, preparation before you go? Any sort of ritual? Will likes to gargle all kinds of things before he does his candy records and truck records.
He must. I've never heard a more glorious voice than Will.
You do anything other than just kind of show up and say, let's, I think you say you have a war cry, let's do this, or let's get after it or something?
Yeah, it's definitely in the category of a war cry.
Yeah.
I walk into the, let's do that! And then the guy follows me around. Dun, 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 dun,
You need a catchphrase. You need to really cement your place because you're there. You're going to be on the Mount Rushmore of American sports broadcasters, but we need to establish a kick-ass.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, Joe Buck here for Fox Sports. Here we go. It's football time. You know what I mean? Like something like that. You know?
It's time for Fox footballs. You can incorporate a Vin Scully there.
Time.
Yeah.
So when you're listening to young announcers, what are some of the things that, in your opinion, they haven't quite figured out yet? Like,
Don't be scared to not talk. Don't be scared of the silence. I think it's inherent within all of us, whatever we do, that if you're not talking or you're not reacting, it's in your mind, you're telling the audience you don't know what to do. And I think a lot of times, especially with technology and crowd mics being what they are and that ambient sound, you don't need to fill up every second with your voice. Let it breathe.
I do feel like he's talking to me. He's looking right at me, I think.
Yeah,
Well, you're fucking talking. You just immediately started talking.
Was that out loud? No.
Case in point.
Did I say that out loud?
When did Jason first start annoying you to become his friend? Because you're a baseball announcer. So how did he get your number? What was the thing? And how did he casually be like, hey, we should text each other and start fucking bothering you?
We had a mediator.
It was Hartwell, wasn't it?
Let him talk. Let Joe talk, Jason.
We had a mediator. His name's Hartwell.
Yeah, Jason's buddy Hartwell.
So I heard Jason, he won't remember this, on Stern talking about washing his hands in a bathroom. And he was up in the press box area, and he was in the media area washing. I went scrambling in there to pee. That's the other part of broadcasting they don't tell you. If there's stage fright in your life, don't even apply, because you have a minute and a half to go to the bathroom, and there's running involved.
Right.
So you have to stay cardiovascularly in tune with yourself.
And
because
never a diaper or a bottle under the counter.
I have peed in a bottle while calling an NFL touchdown. I swear to God.
Really?
It was
Good for you.
I was peeing in a trash can, and they came back.
You don't have to brag, okay? You don't have to brag.
It's true.
That's crazy.
They handed me like a little water bottle. I'm like, I can't, the half wooden end.
He said, that's not going to do it. Give me
Yeah,
that.
and I was wearing a parka because it was freezing. It was in Milwaukee.
while you're talking, you did that. While you're speaking,
We
you just
came
were
back
peeing
from
in
a
thing.
break, and I was peeing, and the action started, and I called a touchdown while urine was coming out of me.
Can you say what the game was, what the touchdown
So we
was?
can go back and watch it.
I'm pretty sure it was. Atlanta against Green Bay, and they played every year. Hard to believe now because of Lambeau and the success of the Packers, but back then they'd play one home game at Milwaukee
I remember that.
County Stadium, and so the bathroom was like over. It was like a Mission Impossible Tom Cruise thing to get to the bathroom in the stadium, and the half wooden end, and I couldn't get there, and I was just pounding water, and it just I was crying. Water was trying to get out of me.
And when you were announcing it, there was a little extra sound of relief in your voice when you were announcing it.
There was a little.
That's 6 points.
That's true, though, and
wild.
so that's another piece to the job. They don't tell you in broadcast school or when you're a lucky nepotite.
I just thought of it. I just thought of your catchphrase right at the start of the game, baseball or football. You go, here we go, the game of the week. The buck starts here.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Well, that's free,
Nice.
Joe. Go ahead.
The buck starts here.
You can have
If
that.
you say it during a broadcast, I swear you're gonna make me so happy.
I will make one person so happy, and the rest of them.
And then that's one of those things. Like if we can just reach one person,
That's true.
we know we've done our job.
That's true.
We'll be right back.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, online therapy.
Hey, the best way to think about therapy is
Yeah.
through a bunch of analogies.
Great.
Okay?
We get our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues down the road.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. We get annual checkups to go to the gym to maintain physical wellness and prevent injury and disease.
That's a great one.
We do chores regularly, some of us, to avoid a giant mess of a house and roaches.
Yeah. Those are all really good, Jason.
Thanks.
Really, really good. Going to therapy is like all of the above. It's routine maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness to prevent bigger issues down the road.
It makes a lot of sense. Going to therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you, gang. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy.
Yes, BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours.
There's so much negative stigma around mental health issues, but there shouldn't be. It's just all positive. It's all good. Only good comes from therapy.
Yeah, and here's a simple question. Why would you invest in everything else but not invest in your mind? Spend a little money on your mind.
Yeah, SmartLess listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/smartless.
That's BETTERHELP.com/smartless for 10% off your first month. Listener, this podcast happens to have the incredible support of McDonald's. And, you know, Sean, McDonald's is important to me because every day after school, I used to go by McDonald's to get that oh so important after school snack, the one that really bridges you between lunch at school and dinner at home. It's the fuel you need to get through homework. And
do you remember what you got?
It was always the QPC with the large fries, the hot apple pie.
Nice.
And the Diet Coke.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, I had a friend. Her name was Eileen, and she was a manager at a McDonald's, and she loved her job so much. And I thought it was unbelievable that she got to make Big Macs. I thought it was like, wait a minute, what? So you can just be around all of that all day long? I thought that was the coolest thing. And so I was like, how do they make it? What's in it? And she told me exactly. And I was like, I was too young. I was still eating cheeseburgers at McDonald's. But then after she talked me through it, I was like, I think I'm ready for a Big Mac. And she got me a Big Mac, and I loved it.
So listen, win or lose, every Little League team still ends up at McDonald's after the game.
I love it. You know what? Do you like it?
I think I'm loving it.
We are brought to you in part by Allbirds.
It's really the best parts, I think, Allbirds
I think so too.
brings us. You know, listen, I know you're sitting there, you're probably driving your car, you're riding the subway, or wherever you are, you're listening to us and you're thinking, you know, as we settle into the fall season, life is picking up again.
Yeah.
And we know that these days staying comfortable is probably at the top of your list like it is at the top of ours. So when you lace up a pair of Allbirds wool runners, you will see that Allbirds has redefined what it means to be comfortable all day long. Because it's made from soft, sustainable merino wool. The wool runners don't just feel good in, they look good too, and they can now magically speak Italian.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know what? When I put mine on, they're so comfortable. It's like putting your voice on my feet.
Che bella.
The wool runners are simple and stylish, proving that comfort, design, and sustainability don't have to be mutually exclusive. They're machine washable and super duper breathable and comfortable. Perfect for all day wear.
Allbirds is a carbon neutral company thanks to sustainable practices like using natural materials like merino wool and purchasing carbon offsets. They know we can create a more sustainable future together, but only if we hold ourselves accountable to tread lighter on the planet, merino wool.
So start the season off right with a pair of wool runners from Allbirds. Find your own pair of wool runners at allbirds.com. That's ALLBIRDS.com.
All right, back to the show.
Joe, do you have like a something that it doesn't have to be controversial or whatever, but anything that in the moment you're like, it was so embarrassing and you can't take it back and it's out there? Like, you have a funny...
There's a couple things. The most notable is, I mentioned we did the U.S. Open, and they're playing at Erin Hills. And Brooks Koepka, who's one of the great players in the game to this day, this was, I think, 2016, he wins the U.S. Open, wins his first major. And I'm trying to pass myself off as a golf announcer, and I'm doing my best. We've had a pretty good week at Fox. I felt like I did a decent job that year. It was my second year doing it. And at the end, this guy, Koepka, wins the U.S. Open, and this girl keeps showing up in every shot, kissing him, holding up the trophy. We did it.
Uh-oh.
I get a card handed to me from a guy in the back of the booth who'd been handing me cards all week that were dead on and made me sound 1,000 times smarter than I actually am and 1,000 times more clued in. And he's got all the stats of who the girl is. And so I just read the card. That's so-and-so. She's a soccer player at Michigan State. And I'm working with Brad Faxon, and he goes, actually, Joe, the person you just said is his ex-girlfriend. This is his new girlfriend, Jenna Sims.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Did Koepka want to come and tune you up?
No, then I get Faxon has everybody's number. Of course, Faxon would know. They had been dating for a month or whatever it had been at that point. But Faxon knows.
He's in everybody's business.
He's in everybody's business, and I love him. But I text him and I say, hey, give me Koepka's number. And I texted Koepka right after he wins the U.S. Open. I said, hey, I don't know if you've heard this, but I kind of fucked up on national TV. I said your ex-girlfriend's name. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. I shouldn't have ruined that moment for you. And he texted back like, ha, 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 crying emoji, all good, great job or something like that. And then he and I became...
And then you asked him if you could go to his wedding.
Yeah, they are engaged. So I am going to work so hard to get invited to that wedding, whether I'm in that city or not. Sure. I will be there somehow, somewhere. I'd like to introduce them and fuck up her name for the second time in my life.
That'd be so good if you could tell that story and then once again use the old girlfriend's name. Bring it
Please
home.
welcome Mr. and Mrs.
Joe, what in your opinion the best ballpark hot dog nationwide, please?
I don't really dive into the hot dogs
No?
when I'm there.
Look at that guy.
What are you, a nacho
eats
guy?
hot dogs. Look at him. Look at him.
Smoke. You don't eat bad food. What do
I
you
have
do?
to eat the media food.
He doesn't eat hot dogs. Look at him. He's in shape. By the way, I noticed you were in shape last year. You really start whatever you were doing. I was like, look at this son of
Tighter suits.
No, he looks better. He just looks
waist
I
up.
could see your jawline was popping last season, and I just thought this guy.
And the hair looks friggin' great, Joe.
Well, that
Let me
was
tell you
everything.
something.
The hair looks
You
great.
know?
I mean,
That's the
everything.
story, Sean, that I kind of will carry with me for the rest of my life. That I went in for my 8th hair transplant surgery back in the day, and I
You said it hurt your vocal cords, right?
Well, for the first 6, I was awake during this really
Wait a
painful procedure. Now, this was back in the day.
Right.
So this is like 2011 when I got my last one, and the
When they used to do it with a needle and thread, right?
needle and thread, and then
pull the hair from your
and a
armpits.
nail gun.
a whole cast of people that were in there to donate hair to me, just different people.
Wow.
So
Wait, you had 8? Okay, keep going. This is
So
fascinating.
at the time I had 8, and the doctor had said, I know that, you struggle during this procedure and you've had a lot of them, you can go under and you can do a general anesthetic.
It's the
I
best.
was like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, but it's an extra $3,000. I'm like, I'll pay you 10. I don't want to be awake during this. I hate it and whatever. So they do you sign out the waivers and all that, and then they put a tube down my throat, and it sat on the nerve that fires my left vocal cord in a way that when I came out, I sounded like this, and I had one vocal cord that was working and one that wasn't.
Wow.
And the story I told, we had McConaughey on our podcast recently, and I saw him in the shadow of where I'm sitting right now back in 2011, and he's like, "Hey, Buckaroo, what's wrong with your voice?" And I said,
Buckaroo.
He's like, you said, what's wrong with yours?
Did you light him up after that?
And I told him the story, and he just waited, and he went, "So what you're saying is you fixed your video, you fucked up your audio."
Oh, boy.
And I was like, yeah. And by the way, I just got on antidepressants and I'm going through a divorce. So I'm going to go over here and suck my thumb and cry to myself for a little while.
Joe, let me say this. And I don't
Wait a
use
minute.
this term. I don't use this term often, but you're a real hot mess. Keep going. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah, you're
then,
good now.
I was definitely hot.
So eight treatments. 8 treatments on the top
Eight
of your
treatments.
head.
Now-
Are we done or?
No, so I had one recently with the new methods with a guy in LA whose client list I found from another one of our guests. He's like, yeah, I had it done. It just came up organically, and so then we became friends. Another Louis K guy.
You want to give the doctor a plug right here? No pun
Get it?
intended.
Yeah.
Well, he gave you one, so you know.
So why do you have to have 8 procedures? Can't you just have one
I have
good
a
one?
massive head, Jason,
But
and
why
I have
is it so
thin,
many?
wispy hair.
What is it like? One row at a time? Can't they do the whole thing? Especially if you're knocked out.
Yeah, you would think, and that's what led to my vocal cord paralysis. But it was 6-hour procedure. But back then it was not as great as it is now.
How long before your voice came back?
It was about 7-8 months somewhere.
It must
in
have been
there.
scary. I mean, that's your livelihood.
How much hair do you now have in your throat?
Well, I mean, every once in a while, one will get in there.
Were you worried that your career was over with your voice being on the
Total.
fence?
I was a mess, and I drove my daughters crazy because I would drive them to school in the morning and be like, "How about this? Does this sound better?
Oh.
Fly ball into right, and back to grab it is Peterson, and that'll be 2 out. How's that?" And I thought it was all over, but it just slowly came back. I could feel it getting better, but you couldn't hear it getting better. But it's funny how your brain works, because I was on Fallon one time promoting the All-Star game, and I got out of that appearance thinking, oh, man, I totally, got through that. I sounded great. And if I go back, if you Google me on Fallon's show in 2011, it's horrible. I can't even watch it. And it's just funny that I was willing to kind of put myself out there, and I didn't miss a game. I sounded horrible. The problem is when you have a paralyzed vocal cord, you can't hold air because it just escapes. And so you can't emote, you can't get loud, you can't. And so I'm trying to just hold my breath, wait for the moment, squeak out a play-by-play call. And eventually it came back for October. And it just, I was really thankful because doctors were telling me if it doesn't come back in 3 months, it's not coming back. And it was way over 3 months.
Is your voice insured?
I did for a while. I think it would be probably hard to insure after that. And it's not perfect. It's not what it was prior to this whole
And
incident.
if you're going to go back and do more treatments, you're still going to be put under with a tube down your throat? I mean,
no.
how do you?
So that's the thing. What little did I know. So I wrote about this. This is how my book worked.
What's the name of the book, Joe?
Book is called Lucky Bastard.
Lucky Bastard can be found wherever you like to buy your own books.
It's on discount racks everywhere.
Is he giving you a cut of his shit? Because you keep, what is this? This is
Yeah.
like
You have a little
promo
arrangement.
Wherever you
episode.
find your own
This is
books.
Unbelievable. Make sure to tune in and watch Lego Masters Tuesdays on Fox. Can I do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I want to know why I'm still on the hair thing. Your dad was a really attractive, pretty hairless fella. One of your colleagues, John Smoltz, got a beautiful head on him, not a ton of hair on it.
No.
Why? What's the need? Let's stop the madness.
Narcissism, ego.
No, what
feeling-
ego? You got to
You
look
look
at
good
your
bald.
gorgeous
Why,
head.
you look good bald. Why don't you just shave the whole goddamn thing?
I know. I wouldn't. No, I
right.
wouldn't.
Jason, listen to you with with all the hair you have in you're like
Yeah.
a billionaire saying to somebody who doesn't have any money, like, why can't you be happy? You're alive. You should be happy. You're
That's
alive.
right.
It's a nice day outside.
That's
It's like,
right.
yeah,
Thank
easy
you,
for
Will.
you to say, motherfucker. You know?
Look at that. It's going different directions.
I know.
If
Joe,
I had
don't
enough
listen to
hair
me.
where pieces could go in different directions like that,
I know. Yeah.
it's just annoying. It's like a little boy.
But here's the great news. It's got great. His hair's got great roots because there's so much empty space below the skull for it to fight for the
Hey, man,
roots.
that sounds like an insult.
Okay. See, he doesn't even know.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. I can't answer anything other than I have since done another one for the first time. I did it like
Good for you.
a couple months ago, and I highly recommend it, and it's not painful. So I know what I started to say.
Yeah.
I didn't realize because I opened my book with this that my name was Mud in the hair transplant world from these doctors because I talked about the barbaric pain that comes with it. And they're like,
it.
you're driving people away. You know, the 7 people that read your book, you're driving people away by talking about how awful the procedure is. And they're right, because now it's simple.
But you know,
It's
Joe,
nothing.
you bring up a point. So the people in that world hate you. You said there are a lot of people who are gunning for you. It sounds
I
like,
know.
according
Who
to
loves-
you.
Who loves you? Who loves
My
you?
my mom loves me.
I love you.
Sean loves me.
I love you.
Thank you.
Michelle.
Michelle loves me most of the time when I'm not complaining about being a dad for the second time around.
Yeah.
My daughters.
Who would win in a fight between you and Aikman?
Aikman.
Yeah,
Really?
He's a big guy.
Look at Aikman. He's got abs. He's got
Does he have abs?
muscles and he has abs. Yeah,
He's in good shape.
it's annoying.
But my point is, should there be a battle? We get some announcers. We can get
I'll
some
take
former-
Michaels. I'll take Michaels.
So you and Al Michaels. Okay,
yes.
this is, by the way, I could sell this to Showtime by
Nance. I'll take my chances with Nance. I'll
Nance.
Old Jimmy Nance has got a real sharp jab on him.
Yeah. No.
Talk to me about Nance a little bit.
I'll hello friends him. I'll hello friends.
Jimmy's real folksy. He gets real folksy on you. But I love his style because he keeps it real casual and he keeps it right down here. And you'll be watching. They do the handoff. You're watching the golf on the Thursday or Friday or even on a Saturday morning, and then all of a sudden they get to the network broadcast, and all of a sudden Nance and Sir Nick pop on. Real like somebody just quietly let them in the back door. Before you know it, Nance is romancing the microphone. He's like, well, and Nick, tell me about Kepka. You're like, oh shit, who let Nance in?
No, I am making verbal love to his microphone. I know you're right.
Oh, he loves it. He's got the gain on real high.
Tremendous skill.
Right, he's got the gain turned way up. So look, watch this. I'll just do this on my mic here, so you can turn the gain way up, so you can talk low, and you don't have to give much of a voice. And here it comes, and now I'm Jim Nance, and here he comes for that walking up the 18th.
Here, I want you to say, Will. I want you to hear this.
Yeah.
Say just, but put a lot of time between all.
Okay.
Just a moment ago. For all four words. Just a moment ago.
Just a moment ago.
Yeah. And then bam.
My voiceover. So I'm going to keep my gain on real high here, and our guys are going to be mad. But my voiceover idol was this guy Hal Riney, and he used to do Perrier. You'll remember he's long since passed, but he'd go, "There is a town in the middle of France where the water comes out, and it's a little bubbly, and that is a Perrier." Oh, I love that guy. I love that. I'm going to turn myself down now.
That's hilarious.
Joe, thank you. And please enjoy the rest of your 5-week vacation in Mexico.
Yes.
And stay away from crashing more weddings.
Joe, thank you. You're a real champ for being here,
Thanks,
man.
Joe. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Justin.
Wonderful
Appreciate it.
callback. He brought it all the way back.
Hashtag callback.
Thank you, Joe. Hopefully
Joe.
we'll see you soon in Los Angeles.
Yes, that would be
Please,
nice.
hurry.
Please.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Just a moment ago.
There. Just a moment ago. Into the hole it goes.
Thank you, my
right.
friend.
See you.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, pal.
Bye.
Oh, another nasty, unfriendly, non-talkative prick.
Sean, when you hear him talking about his relationship with his dad, does it make you wish that your dad took you to the track with him every day?
And when we say track, we're talking about the dog track.
I thought of
Or highlight. Highlight was Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Is he still with us, by the way?
my dad.
He is.
Yeah, he's
What's his
somewhere.
name? Quick.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan.
His name is Ron.
Ron or Ronald?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, that is let me tell you something. That is a dog track name right there. Okay. You use Ronald for highlight, but Ron's definitely at the track
dog
with a double
track.
By the way-
Windsor. Yeah.
By the way, how many times has he heard this in his life? Hey, Ron, who do you like in the fourth?
Oh, bless
Oh
him.
my God.
He knows how to slam a door, doesn't he? Will's on the ground.
Oh,
Come on back
love
up. Whoa.
I don't know why it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh so much because it makes Sean laugh so much. I think.
I love it. You know, when he was saying about how he inspired him, or when Joe was talking about how his dad inspired him, you know, I used my dad leaving as kind of like every day you wake up and you think, I'll show you.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I saw you nodding when he said that, though. Not nodding
Yeah.
off. I saw you nod like going like, yes.
Yeah,
That's
no,
agreeing.
I love that kind of talk. I didn't know he had a podcast called Daddy Issues, and they just talk about all that stuff.
Yes, I would imagine.
Did you talk about your dad?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember the stuff that I do. Maybe because I'm just concentrating when I'm doing it.
That's all right. We all remember.
Will, go ahead. Take a shot real quick.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
No?
I'm not going to say anything.
Just
No.
don't. Okay. It'll come.
just-
It'll
I mean,
come in a
we
little bit.
know
There it
why.
is.
We
There
know
it
why.
comes. And
No, I'm just because you're not in touch with yourself.
yeah,
That's why.
it's down there somewhere.
By the way, I'm not exactly completely in touch with myself either. So I'm glass houses over here.
well, I'm in touch with both of you.
I don't know.
And I'm in touch with you.
Yeah.
Sean, you're pretty in touch with yourself. You've been doing a lot of work. I mean it.
Oh, well,
you do
thank
a lot
you.
of you do a lot of work on this stuff, and I totally respect that. I think it's awesome the way that you do that. That's become an important part of your life.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I try to be self-aware 24 hours a day.
Are you currently in therapy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Once a week?
Once a week. Yeah.
Standing appointment.
Standing appointment 12:30 Monday.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
I'm not kidding.
God, I wish I could get on a routine. I just
Good to get it
forget-
out.
I guess maybe if I could get one of those. Does your therapist have like a
You're
punch
on a
card?
fucking routine, dude. You're on a routine. You're on fucking
But it would be good for me to get into a routine
either weekly or
bi-monthly.
fucking.
You could smell me leading into
I
it,
smell
couldn't
that too.
That was
Yeah,
good.
like
That was
old
really
fish.
good.
Bye. SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Rob Armjarv, Bennett Barbaco, and Michael Granteri.
SmartLess.
Our next episode will be out in a week wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can listen to it right now early on Amazon Music, or early and ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app.